It is uh, May 23rd, 2025, uh, 8:39 p.m. Okay, I'll try to make this quick. So I've talked about this journey, right, of crossing the first threshold and what my threshold guardians are. But I think what I want to explain today is that I've been talking about one journey, the journey towards becoming a writer and director, a person who creates stories or art and film. There's a journey of that, which I'm trying to push towards, or nudge towards, I guess. But the thing is, I would say in total there are actually 3 journeys I'm currently on, and they all intersect at this current point at different stages for each journey. So to explain, there's a journey of becoming the filmmaker, and then there's a journey for this current path I am, which is, working corporate, working, you know, in a biotech, continuing that. Um, and that journey is at this stage of woman as a temptress, because basically the idea is that this journey of sorts of maturity, I guess, of adulthood, is not necessarily a wrong journey, not on a social, definitely not on a social level, but also on a individual level to myself. It's not necessarily wrong. It could be considered right. And also the journey towards the filmmaking career. That is also not necessarily right. It could be wrong. They're both equally right and wrong decisions. That is what makes my situation right now very difficult. I never had to really make such a big decision. Well, no, I've made big decisions, but they were easy decisions to make. I didn't have to pick between two equally wrong and right choices. But this one is, and therefore there is also this journey where it sees returning as or desire to return as the temptress, that I am running away from this passage into adulthood, which makes absolute sense, that um yeah. I don't think there's any more to explain there. I'm literally, well, yeah, I just want to go back. But then I said 3, right? There's a third overarching journey, um, where when I where it kind of encompasses everything of the journey of me leaving home to study in this country and basically go through the whole university shtick, job searching, finally getting a job. Um, and when I think about, okay, what is this larger journey? What's like the theme? What's the motif? What does it really entail? And when I think about, I would say it's honestly, the motif here is dealing with rejection. Uh, to For the desire to be accepted in a situation where I am not accepted. And really, that means it really started from after um, my ex broke up with me, because that was like the first big rejection, and then sort of the breaking of the ego in a sense, or there was definitely some form of death, right? Um, like my reality did shatter. I had to reconfigure, and also that was like sort of the beginning of this insecurity that I've been that has been, growing, not because um not because it's still growing because of my ex, but because my ego became more of a vulnerable state. It learned insecurity, and then there were other experiences that helped feed that to grow even more and more. Um, and so that was the first sort of, I don't know, almost like, if it's at the start, I guess almost like the call to action, sort of, I guess, um, of the theme of rejection. And then I came to a foreign country and learned that culture can be really different, that I felt even more unwanted and difficult to connect. The thing is, I still do, but um, difficult. Even not just socially or culturally, but also sort of legally, economically. I found struggles that made me feel like, or basically feel rejected. Um, and then that continued through the job hunting, although that was also where I started to really fight and build resilience, you know. And then through all this road of trials, I managed to finally achieve this meeting with the goddess through becoming employed at actually a really good company, and a job that's for all the, you know, the nightmare stories I hear. Like the job is good. In terms of like the colleagues, and I'm not stressed, or I'm not like busy, and the pay is like okay. I think it's good for a first salary, you know. But um and so yeah, that is the sort of meeting with the goddess, and the goddess can be the company, but also really the system of capitalism, saying, hey, you were rejected, we're finally I am finally accepting you. And there's this warm, nourishing embrace, I guess, of finally feeling accepted. Um, but then, of course, then the question is, okay, why is there this journey of removing myself from the goddess that I just met? And that is because, metaphorically speaking, this this is a conversation I had with the universal mother, which is she telling me, I'm finally accepting you, come to me, come to my warm embrace to my warm bosom or whatever. And then it's comforting almost, and I feel less stress. But then I see myself kind of vanishing, or like fusing into this universal mother. Or I don't know if, yeah, the mother, maybe I should say, instead of universal or whatever. And I'm fusing into her, and it's like, what the fuck? What is going on? And then she's telling me, isn't this what you wanted? To be fully accepted. And to be fully accepted, it is to become one. You know, be part of the entity, be part of the Leviathan, which is a system, which is capitalism. To sort of diffuse away my identity. And I have every opportunity to do that now, to be accepted. And then in the face of all that, after, you know, fighting for acceptance, fighting against rejection, after all that, I realized, wait, I don't want to be accepted, because at the end of the day, what I really value is my own individuality and freedom. If it means torture, so be it, you know. It's not me. I think there's a reason why I felt rejected, or I am rejected. I mean, there's more of the practical reason, but I think on a more social, cultural scale, I guess, rejection wasn't really a thing to sort of conquer for me, but to cherish. And I kind of understood, but I sort of still felt the pain. But now I'm on the other side of finally being accepted by the system. I want out, you know. And so then the mother turns into the father. And gives me trials. And that is the current stage for that larger overarching journey that I'm now going through. Atonement to the Father? Atonement for the Father. No, atonement to the Father. Atoning to the Father. Atonement to the Father, right? And the trial is basically a way of proving that this journey of the career that I'm going through isn't just a cry, or just what's the word? Just a surrender to the temptress. And also the trial is sort of, are you worthy, you know? Are you ready to cross the threshold? You know, it's not, the trials are not the guardians. Those are different. The trial is, in this case, more to do with actually navigating the system. So this includes, okay, can I still at least do well at my job, you know? That's one way of proving, okay, I'm not just running away. I'm not running away because I'm bad at something that I fear failure. I'm moving away because it's just simply not me. That's one. But there's also these other navigations, like actually working on some film and learning more art on my free time, because the Father would ask me, if you don't do the work, if you don't try to progress even right now, when you have free time, even though it's short, he would ask, then who's to say when you have a lot more free time, you would actually work on it? So that's another thing. I'm working on it. On my commute to work, I'm reading, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And, it's a hobby, but, D&D is an important part because it's basically this free-for-all laboratory of narrative creativity for me. It's a really good place for me to sort of experiment, So working on that, and then of course the Ode to Rofa. This is a film project I have in mind that I'm gonna execute. I got the camera, the bicycle that I need. Tomorrow, I'm gonna actually do a test run of my film to see how things go. And then what's the other thing? And then oh yeah, trying to figure out taxes, doing all the admin work for my transition back home, properly selling off all the items I have. Still maintaining financial literacy, trying to still work on my social skills, all of this, and all of sort of the efforts I'm making right now. Either it's for transition or for the current stage or phase I'm in. It's everything that the Father is saying. One, am I worthy? And also, what can I still take away from the system? Because I guess capitalism is more or less bad. I'm not saying there's a better system, but there are bad stuff. There's a lot of things that I don't like about how things are. I mean, it's not really just capitalism, but the system as a whole, which a lot of it is capitalism. But then the thing is, the system is really people, and or even if it's the system in the sense of what's transcending the people individually, there's still something good you can take away. It's not, everything's not bad, even this brain dead work that I'm in with logistics, there's still wisdom in how organized everything is and this system of accuracy, and is something that I can still apply to my life. And all these negotiation experiences and skills and even Excel, all of this, that's something I can still take with me to the next hero's journey. So that's why the Father is testing me now to say, are you running away from me, or have you sort of become the master of this system in some way, and therefore I have more than the right to move away from the system. and ultimately whatever boon I take. Well, I kind of explained it, but whatever boon I have is the thing I'm taking it back home, literally. Like, I'm literally going through physically the hero's journey of have been to an unfamiliar place, and going back home. Um, so it's really fascinating, like, seeing my life through this hero's journey perspective. It really helps a lot. So yeah, it's this triad, but more so the third journey is encompassing both, and the two are a sort of dualities, a dichotomy of the ultimate decision. But yeah, so I think that's a important thing to point out.